Have you ever wanted to go on adventures? To experience places full of magic and wonder? To be someone with capabilities beyond human capacity? To be a hero? Most people would entertain these as the stuff of dreams and nothing more. But for a lucky few, we took a few steps further. And you can too, if you like. There's always been something so deeply exciting about the prospect of going on an adventure that I don't think my brain would ever be satisfied if I didn't seek it out. I mean, surely you must remember being a kid and playing pretend, right? And you remember loving stories that involve magic and mystery and action. Now, what if I said that you could experience those stories for yourself? Crazy, I know. But lucky for us, there are lots of people who are dedicated, extremely dedicated, to this exact thing, and have found new, more interactive ways to tell stories, bringing people together with creativity, passion, and just a bit of magic. Just a little bit.
15 seconds. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
Hello, and welcome back to A Starborn Wedding. This is Hit Point Hall. My name is Mags, and we're about to play some D&D. But first, let's introduce our players.
Now, how do you guys find that D&D teaches you about yourselves, about other people, about the world?
Jesus Christ. D&D helped trans my gender. I think D&D has taught me a lot about my confidence and how to channel it through characters. I think a lot of people who play D&D love being able to be someone they're not, and I know for me, being able to do that and then realize that I can be so much more intense as a character helps me realize I should just do that in real life. Just like channel this person, and I get a lot of serotonin.
When I was 15, it was much easier for me to be like, oh yeah, I'm not actually a boy. Spoiler alert, I was. But I can play a boy in D&D. And that's all good. That's all well and good. So it was really just like a place to like safely explore those parts of gender and personality that perhaps I wouldn't usually have the space to as a child in small town Arkansas, who was very uncomfortable with myself.
But I mean that really seriously, because like D&D for me, and for a lot of other people, I don't know if any of you guys can speak to it, but like for me, it has allowed for me to inhabit different roles in life and different dynamics in life in the friend group, because I've found myself more often than not the like mom friend, but you know, through D&D I can be the emo rebellious one, or I can be the like stoic older sibling, or I can be like everyone's favorite little brother. Shout out to Ellis. Ellis, my little guy.
That's a fun question. So I've been playing D&D since February of 2020, and that was around the time I was misdiagnosed with cancer. So D&D was a really big opportunity for me to get to connect with people who I wasn't getting to see because I was in the hospital and not having a good time. So D&D really just taught me the value of community and how to work in a group better. I feel like D&D really teaches you when to be in a group and when to just go off on your own.
It has been a way to take apart myself when I have a lot of trouble putting words to things that I'm feeling or I'm dealing with, and I can externalize it through another character and make someone else go through it and play out the scenarios in my head and watch myself as someone else, kind of deal with the things that I might be dealing with.
I think one of the really beautiful things about D&D is that you are telling a story collaboratively, and it's all live and improv based, and so you are just having this really natural moment where everyone is like painting the picture together as opposed to it being predetermined.
You see, at this moment, the princess finally speaks up. The real princess, the one in rags who looks dirtied and her hands are tied. And she goes, you're in the basement, which is kind of being used as a dungeon right now.
Is she still tied up?
Yeah, can I?
She is still tied up.
I'm gonna go help her. I want to like take the ropes off her. I'll like bite through them with my little teeth.
Wait, can you prove you're the real princess? I don't want to be
the real
duped again.
princess.
And could you tell before that was a fake princess?
Well, what I could tell was that she was acting very suspicious.
And is this princess not suspicious as well?
No, look at her.
Upon her?
What?
I'm not suspicious, I'm just dirty.
Wow.
Yeah, wow. Erasmus is super classist.
I don't want to be fooled again.
And so even though you could have like an incredible novel or an incredible movie or an incredible play, D&D is this collaborative live effort that is totally unique to you and to your players.
Oh, you're finally here. Welcome. Come on in. Thank you so much for your help. We really appreciate it on such short notice. Come on this way. You can just stand right there. I will try to make this brief. Welcome, and let me be the first to thank you for coming in today. We are so fortunate to have such an esteemed paranormal investigator as yourself joining us and helping us out. My name is Caitlin. I'm with the Merduno Historical Society, and today you will be helping us investigate the mystery of the disappearance of Master Magician Lord Viltor Madame. Is that name familiar to you at all, Lord Madame? No. That's totally fine. I'll fill you in on some history for context. So, as the title implies, Viltor Madame was a master magician. He was very highly skilled in what we call the magical arts. He was actually born and raised here in Boston about 100 years ago and got his start practicing street magic out in the common in order to support his family. And he was good, like really good. And over time, as his skills grew, so did his fame. And he went from just doing tricks out in the common to selling out theaters all over the city. Eventually, he toured the United States and then the world. He had a show in Vegas. He was a huge deal. Although, as we all know, fame comes at a price. And he started to become very paranoid that other magicians were trying to steal his magic and his secrets. In that effort, he bought this bank vault, moved his entire personal study inside of it, and covered a bunch of surfaces in devious locks. Now, it said that inside the study, he started to move away from what he would call parlor tricks and got into more serious studies, things like chemistry, medicine, biology, psychology, philosophy, anything you can think of, as well as what he also called the dark arts, though we're not entirely sure what that entails exactly. Here's the difficult part. We know many years ago that he entered the study, but no one ever saw him leave it. And in our possession of this vault, we haven't found any remains. So what we're trying to understand is what happened to him? What was he working on? Where did he go? We don't know any of these things. That's why you're here. Do you think you can help us out? I was hoping you'd say yes. You can follow me right this way. Come on in. Apologies for the dimness. We've done our best to preserve the bank vault the way Madame would have kept it around the time of his disappearance. So, as the Merduno Society, we purchased the bank vault with the study inside as part of a historical conservation effort for the city of Boston. You know, famous person, magic, history, all of that. And so you'll still find books all over the place and locks on surfaces and magic paraphernalia, what have you. Now, as part of your investigation, you have our permission to handle anything that you find. We just ask that you please be gentle. This room is very old. We're also not entirely sure what forces may still be at work in this room. It's entirely possible that some of these items still contain traces of magic. All right, you have about an hour. Thank you so much for your help, and hey, good luck.
How do you create a high level of immersion inside the escape rooms.
That can be as complicated as you want it to be.
Yeah. And it's about bringing the magic of theater to something that is more personal and up close. In theater, you think about what will immerse people when they are between 5 and 30 feet away. And in this, it's the same thing. It's just you have to immerse people while they're touching it. And that is, it has to look good from a centimeter.
That's definitely it. It's you're putting the magic in their hands. You know, it probably has more in common with like up close stage magic and type of things. And I think we take the whole holistic approach of trying to look at everything from, you know, the texture of props or the walls or the floor and the sounds and the feedback that you're getting as you interact with everything.
And most importantly, the story.
And most importantly, a story for people to engage with and feel like they're a part of. You know, that.
Which is something that I think a lot of escape rooms don't do as well. There might be a kind of low level, this is the theme of a room that you're in, but they don't tend to have as much of a storytelling aspect as we do.
Why make that choice with having us interact as much as we do with the players?
I mean, it started at the time because nobody else was doing it, right? Having a person explain, you know, the rules, but then also put on this persona and act and give the story in a character, just wasn't a thing at the time. So it was a way to make us stand out, and ultimately it was a way to get people more into the experience. So, yeah. And I think we've stuck with it because it's so effective at the engagement aspect.
We do have people somewhat regularly talk back to Emily. Oh, yeah.
Having a rooms based on a character that is doing a thing and interacting with people, yes, and voicing and unique like that is extra great just for the, you know, suspension of disbelief in terms of people want to talk back to the character and be part of that story.
Oh, yeah.
Lord Viltor in The Magician Study also, definitely a lot of sass there. Yeah. But it goes both ways, so that's fair.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, Viltor's the sassiest one.
What begun as a harmless curiosity, I can't trick you. I just very word there, but turned into something far more dangerous.
We have a lot of props that when you interact with them, they make a noise. So they are reacting to you. And I think that really draws people into things. That it isn't just they are manipulating this world, it is this world is reacting to them.
There's also an element of luck to it, because like rolling the dice determines what happens next. Like someone could go in for the kill and f it up. Sorry. Someone could roll an @1 and everything gets screwed. Or someone could roll an @20 and everything goes flawlessly, or everything goes perfectly but in an unexpected way, or someone could, you know, just barely make something in one direction or the other. And that element of luck and that element of surprise and like improvisation and the players rolling with it and the DM rolling with it is part of what makes D&D so much fun, at least for me.
Yeah. I was watching Critical Role, as I do.
Classic.
And they just came up with the most batshit plan, and we're like, this is going terribly.
Okay.
And I'm going to cast Modify Memory.
Oh my god.
Did I succeed?
Yep.
What? I'm going to make her believe that she enjoyed my company so very much that she agreed to end Not's curse.
And I was like, no, this is what D&D's all about. You know, like, you come up with these crazy ideas that you look back on and you're like, what am I doing right now? Why am I, like, scaling the side of this wall when there's a front door? Like, these, just the most crazy things, because it allows you to have that imagination.
With this, like with D&D, you are getting to play. It is an active participation and advancement of the story. You know, the story doesn't advance unless you do, by solving the puzzle and doing the thing. So it really does encourage people to have to be engaged with it, to be a part of it and feel it.
Oh my goodness. I think one of the really wonderful things about D&D is there's so many different ways you can play it, and so many people of different backgrounds play it, and they play it for different reasons. And when you get a bunch of people who like D&D in one spot, there's just such lovely, fruitful conversation.
I always like to describe it to people who have never played it before. Okay, imagine gambling plus improv. And none of them think that's a good idea, but to the people who are like, ooh, I like one of those two, they end up typically liking it. It's not the DM's world, it's all of you working together to build a story.
Literally last week, Sandra said D&D is like a writer's room, and it's so true. And I think that's why I like it so much, is because if you play it with the right people, so your friends, it's just like creating with them.
There's that power of imagination where like less is more, and when you're a kid and your imagination is just all over the place, you're more than happy to just fill in like any details that we're leaving out with storytelling. And it's great to see people get so invested in that and capture that for themselves.
The best part about D&D is getting from where you are to where you want to go, however you can think about that.
The DM makes the world, yes, that's building the sandbox, but the sandbox doesn't really work if you don't have kids to play in it. So it's more about like creating a place where people can collaborate and actually, you know, not only learn stuff about each other in team building, but it's also about learning to work with others to make a full story. Because my stories as a DM would not be nearly as rich if the characters were not those particular characters.
Maybe the real journey was the friends we made along the way.
What? Oh my god! I love D&D. Word.
I feel very lucky that I am surrounded by quite a few people, both on campus and in the general Boston area, that, you know, have taken to using games and interactive media to tell stories and bring people together. And I wanted to highlight them here. And I wanted you to see who they are and see how wonderful they are and how they have inspired me. Okay.
Yeah, we're rolling. Oh, it says no card.
Is there a card in there?
Yeah, didn't Zach put a card in here? Is this it? Is this red? Is
Yeah.
this red? Oh no. Okay, keep going. We can cut. We can cut between it.
Oh.
You can like skip ahead.
There's a guy in the background. Yeah.
Is the sound from this annoying?
No.
Guys, it's my mic check. Everyone else can. You guys actually care about right now. Yeah, so how's everyone doing tonight? Alright, we got a good crowd going.
Take caution as you proceed. Perhaps you may succeed where I failed. Let's f***ing go! I did that whole thing!